Good afternoon and welcome. Or it might be morning, or it might be nighttime, or it might be morning time. I think we're going to look at that today.
Good afternoon. It must be because you brought it up. We are now in the ever eternal present moment of now space, where it is always
Welcome
now.
to now space.
Enjoy our now.
And dragon clearing the space so that you can drop into heart space.
That's right, baby. Dragon buddy, sister.
Love it. Love it.
Unicorn
Okay.
and dragon.
Oh, I've got, of course, because I've got these things that I want to chat about. We've got all the interference in the world. Let's see how long it stays. Can you hear that?
And feel it. Like,
Yeah, orange calcite today. Okay, so I've been looking at light in a big way. Okay, now it occurred to me, you know, we have these light workers and we talk about light codes and whatnot. And codes, well, I'm kind of uncomfortable with that word because, you know, AI programming, yada yada, and programming. I'm into getting rid of that rather than bringing in more. Even though I realise that there's beliefs in a knowing and understanding. So I've had these understandings about light for a while, and they have been so hard to get out. Namely, okay, because you read a lot about how the moon is about manifestation, yeah, and how you create your intents on the new moon, intent on the new moon, and then you work it out, and then you celebrate and release on the full moon. Okay, wow.
I look forward to our full moon celebration and release, and I'm going to be doing some serious dancing.
Well, now, here's the thing. Okay, I started noticing that a lot of those attacks were happening on full moons and moving into full moons. And I started thinking about that piece. And then I started thinking about the sun generates light. The moon reflects light. And I don't know if you've ever, we have those photovoltaic receptors all through our body, right? Light is information. I mean, they discovered long ago that you can influence light and what it does, just like you can influence water with thought and intention. And it holds. Yep. Okay. So, having that piece, the moon reflects light. Now, if you set up resonance with something, that means that it echoes within your body and comes out in as belief. Oh, here it comes back again. I knew this information was important. Okay, so when you look at the moon and you blink at the moon, you can actually see a stream of light that moves from the moon to your eyes. When the moon is which is resonance, information resonance. So what they were doing, what these kabars were doing, first of all, they got rid of our normal time and took away our planetary time and moon alignment time, as in the phases of the moon and the moon being fuller. So what they did was they started making these bad events happen on coming up to the full moon and the full moon, and people would release these waves of horror at the moon. And the moon is a mirror. It is a reflector. It doesn't generate light. It reflects the sunlight, right? So people's intense waves of fear and hate were hitting that moon, and guess what happened?
It reflects right back. And I have something so powerful that came through as you're sharing this powerful truth, is that the programming for the full moon is that everybody gets crazy on the full moon. More people go to the hospital on the full moon. More people get arrested on the full moon. Bad things happen because people, the programming, so it's reflected back upon society. Boom! boom!
Yeah, I know, right? It's taken me 2 years to be able to get this out. And even then I've still got things. I know, and that's how they did it. And that's how they did it. Okay?
Okay,
So,
I got more. Okay, what else came through is you mentioned how they removed the time, the coding, the time, and how they removed us from our planetary awareness for how the planets and removing us from our sun awareness. I mean, where most people don't even know, like, the sun sets in the west anymore, you know, and I mean, it's just not anything about it. That's the programming as well, because they were able to set up these false systems and these illusions of time that are not real and disconnect us from our planetary consciousness. They stole our multidimensionality from us. Boom!
now get this, and not only that, but because they had disconnected us from having our fun times on the full moon and our bad times on the dark moon, they were able to place their programming on in mass consciousness, and that's the way they did it. So having that piece after
time with Jewel Lightheart, baby, Dragon Buddy, we are awesome. That's so much fun.
So having that piece, I just, like, I'm always into feeling. I'm always into acknowledging how you're feeling. But I'm really into truly getting into and doing the deep, deep, deep work on the dark moon. Because I believe that when we're releasing into earth, release into earth, not up to source. Because earth is a wonderful transmuter. Okay? But if you're going to have if you really want to get into and ritually or ceremonially look at your deep, deep, deep inner stuff, then and it's projecting from you and around you, then perhaps dark moon just might be a good time to do it. And we're used to, you know, they've co-opted all these holidays like Halloween or Samhain and whatnot, and they've made them full moon festivals. They were dark moon festivals. And so when you start putting this piece together, it's huge. Sorry. That's
well, and then think about it. Really, Halloween, we dress our children up and go door to door for candy. Are you kidding me? I mean, can you see where we've lost our heritage? I can see our ancestors going, what the are you doing?
Now, don't get me wrong. I am into an International Child's Day where children should be made to feel the most special things within their community. I mean, every day is a special day for children, you know.
If you want to dress up every day, you dress up every day.
But I'm into a time when people get together and have their consciousness around, totally around, joined, and into the pleasure, joy, and love. Pure pleasure, joy, and love of children. I am into that. And
pure is the most important word that we can say right now, considering what we're dissolving currently.
Absolutely. The most pure.
Celebrated
the problem
every day.
Taking our purity.
I've mentioned that before, I believe, to you, how we are all children still, and that's a part of the cabal and how they've been stealing our child essence, true self from coming out of the womb space. I mean, it's how we're all supposed to be, like the eternal child, and then to grow in wisdom through our life experiences, not to be harmed or torn, or anything like that.
I do believe we are supposed to have life experiences, yet how can you have life experiences and learn from them if those experiences are thrusting you from your body?
Well,
causing you to dissociate.
Yeah, and then you're out of your body, and then how are you learning? How are you experiencing? You're fragmented, which is what they want you to be. And basically with any type of trauma, you could call it like soul fragmentation, or you can make it maybe like the brain being like a computer, and like the central processing unit comes in whole, and then because of the trauma then it fragments, and then you have several different processing units, which would be multiple personalities, which is what happens with dissociation. And this is more rampant than anybody even knows,
Oh,
not the body.
well, I mean, yes, absolutely. By the way, this is part of what we do and what we help fix.
Oh yes, this is a part of what we do. Yes, Lionheart, magical life coach, and work with me, Carrie. She that exists. I have a Facebook page. I'm simply Carrie. Either way, I'm findable. Doesn't matter. This is what we do, and we love it, and we're passionate about it. That's why we come here and share with you.
Absolutely. Walking out our soul missions, living our passion and our purpose, and helping others to do it. Yeah, I think so. So that was a huge piece to me, and getting that out to people has been incredibly hard. And I tell you why, because when you start to look in it, it ekes out to more than that. It ekes out to, how we've been talking about the vibrational chart.
Yes.
And how they've been holding people in polarity, and people believe that you can't get rid of evil, that evil and good must exist on earth. No, it's not true. You can get rid of those vibrations. Just in the same way you can't feel that guilt at the same time as you're feeling bliss, and you work yourself up.
One is up here.
And you work yourself up that vibrational, I call it the vibrational challenge. Because it is a challenge to vibrate at each different level, and to move through, and to hit that heart awareness and reconnect and stay within that heart awareness as different emotions, energy and motion, moves through and around you. But so we don't need evil. It was all.
There's no reason for us to even be at war anymore.
Absolutely.
There never really was. It was just a part of the spell and the illusion.
So glad we broke those.
No. And then today's dispelling. My. What now in this eternal moment?
So this is where I'm at. This is what I'm thinking. Okay, so it's okay to have thoughts and feelings, and you should always acknowledge those as they come up. But if you want to get into that dark, try and just stay in this vibrationally high state from new moon to full moon. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. You want to be in your power. You've got to be speaking your power when things come up, and addressing them when things come up. But try not to get into pain states or do the deep, deep, deep work. Acknowledge what you're feeling. Write it down and tease it out. Like, oh, I'm feeling bad, but I might feel better. I'm feeling bad, but I might feel better. Oh, hold on. Am I starting to feel better? Use that breath work and try and come into that space, and try and just elevate yourself again. Because the real work here for peace on earth is not to have that projecting. See, it brings a whole new world to projection and shadow work, is not to have that projecting along upon other people, and to be adding to that, because Greg Braden and whatnot, when they're talking about, and Bruce Lipton, when he's talking about the morphogenic field and the amount, so many consciousnesses need to be at that level of consciousness before things changed around us. Okay, so we really need those people who are able at the moment to maintain that period of consciousness, especially over those moons, so that it projects and resonates back on society, regardless of what they throw at us, regardless of them throwing up shootings in Las Vegas, and my condolences for any who are lost, regardless of 9/11, which when you look into it was just another ritual sacrifice. Regardless of the wars, we can come from these open heart places of compassion without feeding into that pain. Choice point. Get into the pain on the dark, dark moon. You've got to do it. You can't clear energy blocks and whatnot without actually going through and experiencing and releasing all that programming. It needs to be done. But I think that I've got a pretty good argument for doing it within the old ways. And I think they have, Kerry. I think they've discovered that, and they've been using those ritual times, what were our all pagan celebration times. They're still getting together at that time. They're not celebrating the full moon on Saturday night because it's Saturday rather than it's on the Wednesday. They're still getting together on the Wednesday, putting their mass consciousnesses together. They're still using the time of the full moon, and we really need to get smart and be thinking smart as lovers about this field, about the way we each are responsible for our energy within that field, and the times when our energy is working for us and the world within that field. So, okay.
We're opening a lot of new doors. This is nice because it's so much awareness. It's like you said, it's a new type of awareness. I mean, taking projection to a whole different place. And as you said that, I said, "Oh my, yes," but this is what is needed to be able to be conscious and aware on so many different levels, because we are multi-dimensional beings.
And that's what I'm hoping is, it is my intent that people who are functioning on different levels of that multi-dimensionality will be tuning in and will hear the pieces that are there to help them make their next step within that dimensionality. You're only going to hear what you're ready to.
That's how it works.
What you're ready to.
So what's next?
Well, that was my piece.
I don't really know if I have a piece right now. I feel so honored for our moments together, dispelling time. I'm so excited about this shooting the shit with Joe Lightheart in New Zealand tonight, because this is some serious dispelling.
And I think that's why the time was overtaken, because it stopped us getting together as our tribe or as our communities and all feeling the same way at the correct times, because is there any doubt we live in some kind of construct?
Well, it's ultimate separation. When they did that, like you said, I mean, it separated us from universal awareness, as I mentioned. And then also it's just the ultimate separation. And that's the construct. The separation, the separation, the separation, the separation.
But they're still using that construct and the way in which it was constructed for. And that's how they managed to have that power over us for so long. Because they know these tricks, they know these secrets, they know that if they can generate a bomb or some kind of attack or some kind of thought process around a full moon, it's going to reflect back and resonate. So they've actually intentionally gone up and set these intentions upon our construct.
Yes, so the message is that the full moon, people don't go to the hospital. You know, people aren't acting all whatever and ended up in car accidents and people getting hurt. No, the full moon is not that.
Is
Yeah, it's every.
the full moon is, I missed that.
Oh, I just said it's not what they're programming us to believe that happens. So then our minds think danger and everybody's crazy and don't go out and, you know, it's not a good time to leave your house because it's all crazy on the full
Yeah,
moon.
absolutely. Because ceremonially, it was the time when we would get together and have a good time. Artists would create because there was more light at night time, you know, and it was ceremonially a time when we would feel the love and joy of the earth and just simply being alive. Oh,
No, let's have once. Oh, I know it's going to happen that we're going to have ceremonies under the full moon together. Well,
drumming
you
the
know,
moon.
I'm ready to travel the globe.
Yes. Oh, finding new ways to peace. Finding new ways to peace. Because
Peaceful
everything
ways.
that we've tried hasn't worked so far. So all the belief systems we've been given haven't worked
That's
so far.
with belief. It's like from believing to knowing. I mean, we talked about it before earlier today as far as Christian denominations, that there are over 30,000 denominations and of Christianity just in itself, and each denomination for the most part believe that they have the ultimate truth. And so if you want to look at belief right there, look at the problems with belief and just the separation alone, and that's only Christian denominations. Whew.
Now I've got the helicopters.
Wow. Interesting. Magical Life Coach, Jill Lightheart, everybody.
Exposing these people. Or it's not, I can't even say that it's a case of exposing people. I do actually have compassion, and it's, as every Christian belief, I mean, there is that fundamental love there. There is that fundamental Christian love. And, you know, when you've got billions of people thinking a thought around something, it must create a thought. It creates a thought form. It creates an area within the field. And I think that's it can be a beautiful area to tap into or channel into. The Christian consciousness, if you take away the what people have said about Jesus and yada yada, but if you take the thought of that love and forgiveness for everyone, that's quite a beautiful. Is there any other teaching really?
And if I feel that, you know, if we can all stay in that space, and if that is what is present, and so maybe that's all they need is to teach people how to drop in and drop down into that, what I call the sacred heart space and the stargate of my heart. And when we can live from that space, that is where a lot happens.
Things change. Things really, really change, I have to say. And they change beautifully. First of all, as you're encountering the blocks and the energy is moving through your system, stuff does come up. But it comes up to be healed, cleared, and resolved. How often have we had that thrust at us?
It can be healed, cleared, and resolved very quickly. And it doesn't have to be extremely painful. I mean, it can, with where everything's at, as I've mentioned, like I've been able to do clearings fairly quickly.
Yeah, it depends, doesn't it, on the belief system of the person that you're dealing with as to. I think that some people are addicted to pain and feeling
Of
pain
course,
around their lives,
of
which is
course.
unfortunate.
Like you mentioned, the adrenaline rushes. You get addicted to the adrenaline rushes. People get addicted to the family trauma drama, and they keep going back to the trauma drama, and then keep going back to the trauma drama, and keep going back to the trauma drama. And it must be that it's a part of the programming too, being unable to leave it. And but it makes sense though that if they feed off the fear, then they're feeding off the trauma too. So it's a programming and being addicted to the pain, just like they love the pain because they get the energy off the pain.
And I think it comes a lot to what you were saying about um, the things like the moon cycle and woman's sacred cycle. When you start distrust within that whole area, physical area of our pelvic floor, then there are great connotations for that, and not only breaking our connection with Earth, and that is the area that stores those beliefs of shame, guilt, and trust, and what it takes to survive, pure survival stuff. And so that has been traumatized and blocked in those ways, and it's really easy to clear. It is easy to clear, but it does come up and bubble up as emotion. You do have to feel, and that I love that chart because that chart.
Feel. We do feel. That is important. If you're going to work with us, you have to agree to allow yourself to feel
to the depths and the heights that you can feel until you level out into that beautiful plane. Yeah,
it's moving through the duality within ourselves to transcend.
To transcend, if
we must feel it to get here.
Yeah, if you're thinking of something that you want and it's not happening instantly, it's because there's something blocking it, and it's not always us either. We've never talked of psychic attacks. We've talked a little bit on attack, but we've never really talked on psychic attacks. We should go there one day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like we're at now in time? In the eternal present moment?
I lost track of time years ago, and I don't mean I lost track of time. I can see time, but it's like it's one big now moment.
I just thought that was funny to say that, to see where we'd go with it after our whole unicorn and dragon tales was about time.
Well, isn't that's part of that quantum easement, isn't it? Where you think a thought and it happens over here, and it all could just be the same thought everywhere at the same time.
Very well.
So, no time.
And yeah, I mean, and where did the time go, right? We've dispelled it.
But it's still there in the construct. I mean, I look at the planets and the sun and the moon like they are a computer, and they're tick, 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 talking around.
The original grandfather clock.
Yeah, grandfather time.
Grandmother.
But I know from my experiences of healing ancestral karma that you can heal someone in an ancestral line generations back, and the healing comes through within you and the children now. So time as it's presented is an unrealistic construct. And that's aside from the guys. I can't do it, but some guys can find the blink of the universe. There's a very definite blink every 38 0.38 thousandths of a second or whatever that was. Some that, and they can go through those. They can actually move through those and time travel. And I'm not talking like I can do it with my mind and my light body and travel to wherever I need to go or want to go at any time or any construct of time. But they can actually physically move through that moment to another. Now that's a whole nother level of mastery. I wonder what that's about.
Moving through which moment?
They can move through, within moments, there is a gap. It's like
in between our breath.
Yeah, but when, I can't remember which knowing system has been handed down that says we are part of someone's dream, but what happens when they become awake or they open their eyes, but what they call this is they call it the blink of the universe, and they've measured it. Scientists can find it, they can measure it, and in that pause is when it's like if you have the infinity sign, it's the 0 point, it's the point where the infinity crosses over, and they can actually physically move through that point. Imagine physically moving through that point. Like I'm at the stage where I can see the construct in pixels. I can't put my hand through it yet, but I can look at walls and I can see the energy and the pixelation, and even in the space, I can look at space and see the pixelation with the space, but I can't move through the wall yet. So that's belief, yeah.
Yeah, now we're going really deep. Well, okay, we are in zero. No, I love it because that means that things are opening up and flowing, and we're moving into this right now, or we wouldn't even be discussing it together. So looks like we will be soon. I mean, just because in our conversation. So yes, I'm so excited. I'll be walking through walls soon. Yeah, we're in 0 point. There is no separation, and everything is sacred geometry. Everything is geometry.
Everything around, but is that another one though? Because we've been fed so much.
The pixelation that I see is okay. Like when we're running energy while we're filming, I'm always seeing pixelation, on the screen. And then as far as what you've mentioned is on the walls and stuff, I see movement and geometry shapes and patterns.
And the auras of people, the energy fields around people.
Definitely picking up on it, for certain.
I think that's what, when they say chaos magic, this is what makes chaos magic so interesting, is that it's random. Everything around us it has number sequences, and it's made up of blocks and made up of information and light and whatnot. It's when you can hit that point where that doesn't exist. That's the true creative. That's the true feminine energy, is that random creation.
That life forces, it just flows through, and the power of our emotions with it. Energy and motion with creation. And that's a lot of things that I noticed that when others teach on manifestation or talk about manifestation, just when manifestation, how important the emotion with it is. That's the power of creation. Makes the divine feminine so powerful. So why are we repressing emotions? It blocks our manifestation.
Absolutely. And it's not, I don't think it's about you acknowledge, it's about when you're getting in there and doing that deep work. But it is, you can instantly clear it. I think also another piece is that when you get up into those higher vibrational states, The energy is lighter and finer, which makes things matter. Does that make matter easier to move through?
Less density. There it is.
So I wonder if we've been thinking about ascension in the wrong way, in that we tend to think of ascension as light, as in physical light, but I'm actually wondering if it's really about becoming lighter, physically lighter.
Wow. I'm seeing a few things right now, and it's like, phew. Because others, believe like we're going to leave the planet and go somewhere else, like to like another place. And it's like, no, this is heaven on Mother Earth. This is heaven on Mother Earth. We're not like ascending, going anywhere else. And I know that that's inner truth and knowing, because I resisted it for so long, because my cry out was, I want to go home. Because what goes on, well, hello, we got to get there first and see it within ourselves.
We've got to bring it.
Go ahead.
Bring it from out here or in here. In here and out. Oh, what's your throat going? The throat. You got something to say there?
In a different way.
Don't drink the stones.
Okay. Whew. It happens. So let's go back. What were we saying?
Okay, so we've got to take our knowing of what it is that we want, that we've created within that field, and bring it through physically to make it real. And I think that starts with that inner knowing, that not having those blocks from that programming, and it allows what we truly want to flow through. And the other thing I think we forget is that it comes to us from spirit or source, but it comes to us through other people. It's not just about us. When I started looking at that whole self-love piece, I've always felt uncomfortable with that self-love piece. No, I don't feel uncomfortable with self-love. That's the journey of my life. I've always felt uncomfortable with, you can't love other people until you love yourself. Because I tell you, I had never loved anything until I had my children. Myself, my husband, you name it, not until I had those. They taught me what love was, and their unconditional response to me and mine to them was love. So now when I hear people thinking, oh, you've got to love yourself and it's all about self-love, I'm thinking, no, it's about loving others. From our
my journey is love as well.
We must have a guru hat on or something. No, not a guru, because a guru's shadow and dark, and there is no dark. It's just a load of lies. There's only levels of light. There is no dark matter. See, there's launching another search for dark matter. What a waste of time.
There's no dark matter.
Let's spend another 50 billion on freaking a safe space program and forget about those children over in Ethiopia or who are starving, Twisted.
My daughter is my greatest teacher. And I was not born into a family of love. And so I come to two conclusions. I chose it for the most ultimate perception, or just because I didn't care where I came into because I had a job to do. And I knew that husband I would, arise. I knew that I'd come through because I knew who I am. But my daughter, just from while she was in my womb space, that the love was present from the womb space. I mean, I remember when I first found out I was pregnant, I cried. And then I was happy and I was grateful, because it was all a rush. It was a really big deal. It was a huge thing. And then from the moment of the time that I knew, I was always laying hands on her and sending her my love and my energy and just speaking health over her and love and prayers and beauty. And then I channeled her name, Freedom Grace. And this is before I was connected to the channeling and the full knowing of connecting to source. And it came in Freedom Grace. And I was, at the time, it resonated as the promise was that she'd be free of the generational curses on both sides of her family and the ancestors and the heritage, and that she would receive grace for her life. But now I see that promises for me as well. And I've been clearing generational stuff. You and I have even done ancestor work. And when my father came in,
it's all DNA work.
I was so surprised when my mother's stepfather came in. That really caught me off guard when he came in to stand for me in freedom and apologize.
As much as it took me by surprise, because normally when we're talking about ancestral DNA, we're looking at someone who's connected through bloodline. So we were looking at someone who was connected through soul line.
I didn't expect him. I just didn't, just because the relationship wasn't really close. Either way, it made a huge difference. It made a huge difference in my life.
Yeah, it does. I think people forget that 2 weeks later to go back and do the next ancestor, and then 2 weeks later the next ancestor. But it is a practice. It's like anything. A lot of what we do, it is practices. Oh dear. Okay. Actually, Unicorn Queen, Dragon Buddy's feeling a little tired.
Well, Dragon Buddy, I'd say get some chamomile tea or some green tea and relax and be with yourself.
I've got water over here, orange calcite here. I've got amethyst, hematite, and I don't know what that one is, but geez, it's pretty. It's white with grey.
Indeed, very, very pretty. Well, how about I close us out of this episode.
Before you close us out, I have a question. See that on your earring?
This one?
Yes, that is gorgeous.
Yes, it is. This is my way of celebrating my daughter, Freedom Grace, in the holiday season. And this is a handmade ornament of her little hand and her paw print and her existence to when she was 6 years old. And so this is my way of celebrating and bringing her into our sacred space and our ceremony, because her life is sacred. And yeah, this is her little hand. So yeah, so it's like a craft ideas, creation ideas, and not even that, but you can make this ceremony and prayer with simple intention and create magic for life. Ooh, I'm going to do that. I have a bunch of ornaments that I can do this with and paint.
Well, and I think that's something that we need to acknowledge, and that as women, we have always gathered stones, we have always said prayers, we have always used herbs. This is part of our sacred role within life, and part of becoming more connected and reconnected with who we truly are authentically, for some of us is, and some more than others, for some it's lipstick and eyeliner and mascara, for others it's all of them. is being okay with collecting your stones, your ornaments, making little altars for direct concentrated thought of peace and love, especially around our family. Um, it is about feeling comfortable with who you are and your life and what is going on in your life, and honoring those pieces of it, you know?
Honoring the sacredness of life. And yes, it's a balance of loving ourselves, honoring and loving our own lives and loving others, and it's just knowing that we're all one. There is no separation. Yes, you know, there may be some in the past. I had to love people safely from a distance, and I still do.
Some
So
of
that
it's
is something
that
that
empathy.
it's all included as a part of, you know, a life lesson, maybe in journey of self-love and love all inclusively. I mean, there's so much to love. I mean, love isn't superficial. There's so much depth.
And I'm not even going to say there's different kinds, because really, when you break it down, there's really only one.
One love, baby.
One love.
Dragon buddy.
Unique parts of the whole.
Very unique parts of the whole.
Oh, I love you, sister. You have a
Yes.
wonderful, wonderful day. Oh,
Embrace
I'm Jill Lightheart.
Embrace ourselves and our unique parts of the whole. Yes, you are Jewel Lightheart. Magical. Life.
And yes, magical life coach. And Kerry Stone. Why do I keep doing that? I've got a story about MK Ultra programming and names for next time. Oh,
Ooh, that would be a good one. Yes. Yeah, Carrie Stone, She That Exists. And then I have the I'm Simply Carrie Facebook page. And, you know, if anybody wants to work with me and find me, they will discover me. I mean, I'm out there. There are plenty of places. I mean, YouTube, our Unicorn and Dragon Tales. We have links there. And we'll soon have our Patreon link up as well for those of you who enjoy our broadcast and our episodes and who enjoy coming to us to receive these life wisdoms and teachings and heart sharings and to show your gratitude. We will have the Patreon link up soon.
Yeah. Hey, I think I blew it out as I was clearing the space around time. So I think that's why I'm a little bit tired. But yeah. Hey, I just want to send you lots of love. I want to send everyone out there lots of love, and just encourage you to take one step on the bare earth, or do one thing towards acknowledging how special and sacred you are, because you are a divine gift. Anyhow. Unicorn and dragon tales.
Unicorn and dragon tales. All of life is sacred with unicorn and dragon tales. That's my word. It's like all life is sacred.